What's up, everybody? We're going to do something new. I am in the process of visualizing my round for tomorrow, round 3 for the J-Town Championships. So we're just going to walk through every throw tomorrow. This is obviously an ideal situation, but we're going to go through every throw. So hole 1, it is a short shot over the water if you're going for 2. I don't even remember the distance, but I'm going to go with a K1 Oakleyberg. A little bit understable because I'm going to put on a little bit of Anheuser. Just let it turn over. It's going to float to the basket. So it's going to be the first shot. Second shot, it's going to be a tap in 10 feet for the first birdie. So that's hole 1. Hole 2. It takes a little bit of doing. You got to navigate around some trees, over some water, through a gap, and then you've got to get it past a set of guardian trees just outside the edge of circle 1 to an elevated basket. So I used to throw an eagle to get there for a little bit of turn and then the sure fade. Now this is going to be way too long, so I'm going to go with my titanium buzz. Going to make sure it moves right, and it's going to definitely come back, and hopefully it'll just be underneath the basket, but more than likely, depending on the wind, it'll probably be like 20-ish feet. So 20-ish feet, another tap in birdie. We move on to hole 3. So hole 3 is a little bit of a dog leg right with a hill to stop shots from going too long. I've had the most success just throwing a slight turnover with the buzz. I really like the forehand play with the Cayman. Let it skip in. So tomorrow, the first choice is going to be the understable ESP buzz. If the wind's really kicking, then we won't do that because this will just kind of float a little bit long. So if the wind's really going, then we're going to go with a forehand with my star if I can get it out. Cayman. So backhand turnover with the buzz if the wind's not too crazy. If the wind's really going, then I'm going to do forehand with the Cayman. Then moving on to hole 4. This one is on the top of a ridge, like 326, 327 from the pin. That one is into a pretty good headwind every time, and you don't want to go right. You know, if the wind takes it right, no chance of the birdie. If you go left, you got some trees and some OB. So you kind of want to keep it on the right side, slight uphill putt. I just go with my T-Bird 3, throw it like 60-ish%. It fights through the wind. It's going to come back. I keep it low and just pretty much directly at the basket. This has gotten me to 2 a lot of times when I needed it. So T-Bird 3, there's no questions there. Don't complicate it. And then we're going to play hole 4A, which is over a fence to a practice basket. Sometimes there's an island, sometimes there's not. Doesn't really make a difference to me if there is or not. I just go with the bird. Throw the bird, let it do its thing, and then just bang a putt. So there's that one. And then hole 5. Hole 5 is probably the most difficult get on the course. It's like 270 feet, and you start elevated. You go through a tree tunnel, but then you got to get a good 200 feet left, okay? And there's trees and woods that'll put you in jail if you try to go directly to the basket. Really, the only way to get there is throw a roller, which I really don't do. Or you got to throw a sky hyzer. So I'm going to do that with a metal plate gator. Last time we played a J-Town event there, I got the $100 CTP with this disc, just going straight up and letting it come back. That's the play, no question about it. Let's get that done. And then hole 6. Hole 6 is only 287 feet, but it gives me problems. You either have to take a forehand wide around some trees right at the edge of the circle. And there's a wall of trees that go along the right side and kind of protect the basket. There's no straight line. You can kind of turn over a backhand if you're right-handed. Or you can just, like, I guess, try to throw straight, get to the edge of circle wide, and make a putt. I want to be right there for a tap-in. So within 18 feet, I want to be right there. So wind dependent, no wind, or small amounts of wind, we're going with the buzz. Backhand, keep it low, just let it kind of slide a little bit right. It'll be in there. I did have some problems that last time because of the distance. I don't put enough spin on the disc to get it to turn right enough at that distance. So, I mean, the touch is something I'm still working on. So I got to do that. Backhand with the buzz is my preferred play, but depending on conditions, I might just go with a forehand with a cast glass stall. I can put it pretty high. It'll definitely fade back. No worries. It'll get the distance without having to throw it max power. That's the wind play. And then moving on to hole 6. From hole 6 to hole 7. Hole 7 is the hole that I should be taking strokes every single time in the field. It is 600 something feet. You got to get out the big wide field, but then it kind of condenses down to about 45, maybe 50 feet wide for the last third of the hole. So, and there's a little creek. So if you can clear the creek, it's like 450 to clear the creek, maybe 430. If you clear the creek, you got a super easy, just little chip shot. You can't really get there in one shot. It's a 2-shot hole. The green is pretty well protected, so you do need to be accurate on your second shot. You definitely need to be accurate on your first shot, because if you go too far left, if you fade left, you're in trees, it's jail. If you turn it over and go right, you're blocked off. There's no chance. So I might go with the new cloud breaker. This just came in today. I love cloud breakers. They don't have any fade for me. They just go straight forever. So getting across the creek with this, no problem. I haven't thrown it into the wind, so I'm not sure how it reacts. So if there's wind, I'm not going to throw this. There's probably going to be wind. So I'm going to go with Star Wraith. This one's the more stable of the two beat ends. Obviously, I have a Halo Wraith. I don't normally bag it, but I'm going to throw this, get across the creek, chip up, take the 3. So Star Wraith for most conditions. If it's just ideal, there's no wind, maybe I'll try a cloud breaker. Probably shouldn't. Haven't put enough field work in with these guys yet, but yeah. So then to hole number 8. Hole 8 is one that I got last weekend. I don't expect to get it every time because it takes a lot of luck. You're just going through a tunnel with trees everywhere. There's no clear, repeatable line, really. I used to do it with an invader, just a little turnover with the invader, get through there, fade at the very end. Now it takes a little bit more touch than I think I have. So, going with the bird. Slight turnover, let it get to the trees and then just fade out. Anything within 30 feet is fine for me. I think I was 20-ish last weekend, took the 2. Really needed it. Hopefully I won't need it that much there. But Berg, backhand turnover, hope to get the 2. That's when we're going to settle for a 3. If we get a 3, no big deal, because they'd be par. So par on hole 8, not a big deal. Would we like the birdie? Absolutely. See what happens. Hole 9, we're playing the B basket. This is pretty much just like a 317 straight shot through a tunnel, a tight tunnel early, jail on the left, jail on the right. You can't really overshoot it. There's some trees that are right by the basket too, so if you go a little deep and hit those, you'll drop down, still have a shot. So obviously, T-Bird 3, dependable, dead straight, don't have to worry about anything. Then the hole 10. Hole 10 is one that should be gotten every time. In my mind, it's every time. It's just a straight shot. It's 337 feet. You got some left to right wind. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's not. You got thick trees on the right with some barbed wire once you get in there, so you really don't want to be in there. The wind, though, makes things difficult. You do have some trees at the back edge of the green. If you go long, it makes putt difficult. Left side, if you go pin deep on the left too far, kind of in some stuff, you can still make a putt. Not ideal. It's a buzz. 337. It's not a full pipe. Last week I shorted it, still had a putt. When we played random dubs, I think I was 35 out in the bush to the right, still made the putt. So it's a buzz play. Some people take the forehand. I don't like it though, because if the wind picks it up, you're in the trees. No shot for the 2, maybe no shot for the 3. So for tomorrow, just because I want to be able to put a little bit more on it without having to worry about it, I'm going to go with either the titanium buzz or the Z buzz. It kind of just depends how I'm feeling the day. Both of these do kind of the same thing. The Z buzz stays straighter. It doesn't turn as much. Definitely still comes back. The titanium, I can turn more. I think I might go with the Z, just so I don't have to worry about it turning a little bit too much or having to go too far left. So I think Z buzz is the play. And then it'll just be make a putt. Hole 12, it's a forehand, and it's a forehand. So there's no question, it's a forehand. You let it. Where you going, buddy? Shot enough? All right. Little forehand. Either you can air it and let it knock in. I think it's like 270 feet. You got trees on the right, trees on the left, trees to block if you go too far. You really got to have the right amount of distance, have distance control down, but you still need to get 30 feet right at the very end. So, metal flake gator on the flick. I used to like the skip play. Now it turns into a little bit too much of a luck fest because you got 2 logs that'll kind of kick you back, and if you kick back, you're not really going to have a good shot making the putt. It's a 40-foot putt if you get stopped by the logs. I don't want that. So I think I'm just going to go air shot about 10 feet high, let it fade in, make the putt from wherever I end up. And then hole 13. Oof, hole 13 has not been kind to me. It's 274 feet. You got to hit a gap, and then once you get the gap, it's just wide open. So it should just be get out the gap. But the gap is 180, maybe 200 feet off the tee pad. It's a little bit downhill. You got a limited ceiling, jail on the right, jail on the left. You got to hit it well. I used to go with the T-Bird 3. I've been trying it with the Banshee. The Banshee, I don't know why, but it doesn't quite fit my flick right. It should. It's almost the exact same as T-Bird 3, but it's not. So I think I'm just going to go with the T-Bird 3. I used to like the turnover with the backhand with the rat. Maybe I'll try that. Probably not. I think I'm just going to want to get the 2, so I think I'm just going to forehand the T-Bird 3. The grass on the green doesn't skip. So if I don't throw it high, I don't have to worry about it going too far. So it's just flick it through there, let it hit the grass on the green, make a putt. The green's wind protected, so it doesn't really matter where on the green I am. Just get it through the gap, be open, hit a putt. Then we've got hole 14, which is the second longest hole in the course, 413 feet. It seems really far, but it's not far at all. So you've got a pretty hard backstop of trees 10 feet behind the basket. The tee pad's kind of tucked in on the angle, but on the whole right-hand side, you've got trees that won't give you a shot to get out unless you're right at the edge. So 413 feet, I really like the Undertaker. Threw it last weekend, got pinned deep, but I went right because the wind just gusts like crazy, coming right to left generally. It could be the Wraith. It could be the Destroyer. It could be a lot of things. It could be the T-Bird. I kind of want to throw the T-Bird, but I'm not sure that's the right play because it's slightly uphill. And with the wind, it might not get the right distance. So I think I'm just going to put... I think I might just put the Destroyer out there. It sounds weird, destroying a 413-foot hole, but I don't have to throw it full power. I can just put it up in the air and let it hyzer back. This is probably going to be the play. Just make it simple. I don't like throwing hyzers. I like throwing more straight at things. But tomorrow, I definitely need to pick that up. Most people don't pick that up. Mike Tilka, he parked it literally into the basket last week, and shout out to him. This is a hole I absolutely should be getting every time because it's right there in the sweet spot distance for me. So I think I'm just going to take the Destroyer, make life simple, put it on the hyzer, let it come back, hit a putt. Then hole 14, which is the ace hole. If you're going to get an ace on this course, hole 14 is where it's at. I don't run the ace because if you go long, you're stuck in the trees behind. So I just throw the bird, let it stop short, tap and putt. You got trees all around you when you come off the tee pad. You got trees short, you got trees short right, you got jail off to the right. Off to the left of the green is where I lost my first tournament at Trinity to David, DJ Alla, because I got stuck and couldn't make the putt through the trees. So you don't want to be left, you absolutely cannot be right, and you don't want to be short, and you don't want to be long. So, cheat code. And then hole 15. Hole 15 has given me problems like almost no other hole in this course. It shouldn't. It's 250 feet maybe. It looks like you need to get left off the tee pad at the end. You don't. Just throw a straight shot. Make sure you miss the big tree in between the tee pad and the basket, and you've got a 20-foot putt almost no matter what. It should be so simple. But for some reason, overthink it, worry about too much, smack a tree, skip too far left. So tomorrow, if I'm throwing the bird well, I'm just going to throw the bird. Like I said, just straight. This will fade back a little bit. It's 250 feet. No issues there. But part of me really wants to throw the pig. But the pig is the disc that always gets me in trouble at this hole, so maybe not so much. Plus, too, the pig's going to blend in. It blends in really well because the leaves on the ground it's fall. I shouldn't throw the pig. Maybe I'll get the other pig. Maybe I'll try the Ricky pig. I'm going to do the Ricky pig, so I'm going to have to put that in the bag tonight. I'm going to throw a Ricky pig tomorrow. Berg is a good play, but throwing the Ricky pig. We're not playing hole 16, so we're playing hole 4A. So then hole 17. Now, I have never gotten hole 17 because we're playing 17B. So it's off to the left. There is no real line. It's on top of a hill where if you go 10 feet past, you're in the... If you go 6 feet past, it's going down into the water. I've gotten close. I've gotten within 40 feet and run the putt, but then I ended up in the water. Tomorrow, I think I'll probably just play hole 17 for a 3. I don't like the idea of playing it for a 3 because, I mean, picking up strokes, but I'm going to play hole 17 for a 3. So, tomorrow, I don't want to get any bad kicks. I don't want to go long. So, tomorrow, plus there's the wind. The wind usually comes on this hole. Headwind, a little bit of headwind, and it'll be picking up off the water. So I'm actually going to throw the T-Bird 3 on a low line, way under full power. Just try to miss the trees. Hopefully land just 60 feet away. Lay it up with the Berg. Tap it in. T-Bird 3, low, maybe a little bit of skip. We'll lay it up, tap it in. The cool thing about this play is if the T-Bird gets through all the little blocker trees and skips up. It'll skip on the right side, and I might just be able to have like a 15, 20-foot putt. So bonus birdie with the skip play. If not, tap in 3, we're cool. And then to hole 18. So hole 18 is one that I should be getting every time. It's 330 feet. I really like just being ridiculously simple and throwing a putter. The Ruin 3303 with the wind, it'll still get there. And I've put this under the basket with the Ruin a couple times. I like the idea, just throw it flat and let the disc do all of the work. I didn't do this play last week because I really needed to make sure I got through the wind, so I threw the stall. Ended up a little bit short, but it was still fine. If the headwind's not gusting too crazy, throw the Ruin. But on the back of today, the wind was crazy, so I think tomorrow I'm going to end up throwing either the stall or the T-Bird 3. It's all wind dependent. If the headwind's really crazy, I'm gonna throw the stall. I'm gonna just put it flat, straight off the tee pad, let it fade in, and get in there for the putt. If the wind's not too crazy, I'm gonna throw the T-Bird 3 because I can go a little bit more direct to the basket, not have to worry about a skip. Just put it there, let it fight through the little trees at the bottom, hit a putt. I think that's all the holes, and I think I'm only shooting for par on one of them. Realistically, and hole 5 maybe won't get, because that's a bit of luck. So I think that, and people are going to call me crazy and full of myself, but I think 16 down is actually achievable. I know 16 down is achievable because I've gotten every one of these holes before. 16 down is achievable. I don't think it's going to take that to win tomorrow. In all honesty, I think 7 down would get me the 3 strokes back and then cover the 4 strokes that maybe this guy will get. I would be happy if I shot 10. I would feel like, okay, I've done my job. Realistically, if I don't get hole 5, if I don't get hole 17, I'll even give myself hole 12. So 5, 17, 12, that's 3. Hole 2, let's just call that a par. So that's 4 I miss. That's still 14 down. So 14 is the goal. 10 would be content. And then really, as long as we win and shoot over 960, I think we'll be all right. Thanks for listening. That's my breakdown for tomorrow at Trinity Links. Hopefully, this time tomorrow we'll be celebrating another win. Try to go 4 for 4. Let's do it.